Okay, we've just taken our eye off the ball for 1 second. Hi guys, welcome back to Douglas Forest and Garden. Kieran Daly here. I'm here to show you today safety equipment while you're using your chainsaw. I'm 35 years in this business and I have sold thousands of chainsaws in that time. And the one thing that has never failed to shock me was the blasé attitude general public have in buying any safety equipment. So what I'm going to do here today is explain what's available and why you should wear them. At the front here, we have a pair of Wellingtons, a pair of the top-end chainsaw boots, goggles, mobile phone, gloves, helmet with ear defenders, your safety pants, and more defenders, ear defenders. Most tree surgeons or people who make their living from using chainsaws will actually have every one of these. And most people who buy a chainsaw for hobby use buy none of these. Maybe their mobile phone, but they'd be left in the car. Just on the mobile phone, one of the most important things you should have on you if you're using a chainsaw is this guy. Mainly because if you run into a dire incident, at least you have a phone that you can ring somebody and get help. So that's what that's there for. Goggles, self-explanatory. Your eyes, very important, and what is thrown up by these guys, they're sharp little slivers of timber. The boots. The boots, now we don't expect people to spend 300, 400, 500 euros on boots, but I'm just explaining what they are. They have built-in protection along the side, on the tongue area, and on the front. Most people tell me, oh, I've got steel toe cap boots. That's great if your chainsaw hits here. What about here? Or here? Or there? You know, don't forget when you're using your chainsaw, you're within 12 inches of your foot normally. So that's at the high end. But if you take the chainsaw Wellingtons, they actually have built-in protection. The front, which is your tongue area, and your sides and your front. So a good item to have, considering, think about it, where is your chainsaw being worked and how close it is to your feet. Gloves, once again, there's a protection on one glove, better grip, plus if you're reaching down to pick up those pieces of timber, you have better grip on that timber and you're not slipping and sliding. Helmets. Helmet really, in the forestry, they wear helmets because the danger in the forestry is what actually is loose up in the tree area, up in the head, coming down on top of you. So, but what it has is this grill. And the grill, once again, is to stop splattering coming back into your eyes. Okay? Or you can just wear ordinary ear defenders. The pants, I'm going to explain to you in a minute about the pants. They should be a necessity. They are a lifesaver. I have seen numerous scars and horrific injuries in my time from people, and mostly professional people, where they've had accidents. They've turned off for a split second and some terrible accidents happened. Now, you'll probably say, sure, I don't need them. I'm not a professional. Well, I'll just move this out of the way. When you look at the chainsaws, they all have one thing in common. And they have a very sharp blade. So if you look at this chainsaw here, that's the top end chainsaw. That is a 1,200 euro chainsaw. That is a 250 euro chainsaw. They both have something lethal at the end of them. They will both do horrific injuries if you're not being careful. One of the reasons that people have accidents is they don't learn how to sharpen. And if you've got a blunt instrument, what normally happens is that you put more effort, you start leaning into it, you start pushing, you start forcing it. And anything you force, you have more of a chance of having a horrific injury than if it was properly sharpened. So the first thing I always say to people is get yourself a proper sharpening tool, but not only get it, but learn how to use it. If you want to come into us, we'll show you how to do it. We'll explain on the phone. There's videos available on these things, but it's vitally important that if you own a chainsaw, know how to sharpen it. Now, this little guy, there's a lot of these small little chainsaws being sold online. You see them on television, you see them in the sheds, as we call them, out there. They're for light work, and people think, ah, sure, I'll cut a little twig. That will cut your hand off, cut your finger off as quick as the 1200 professional chainsaw. So guys, I urge you to think seriously on safety. Get the basic requirements. If you go out in safety, please God, you'll come back with all your limbs attached. I'm going to do a little demonstration in a minute, and I'm going to show you why these pants are so important. These pants have an extra layer built into them, right? And what's in there actually is thousands of threads, which goes from your ankle up to your waist, and that's your protection. The idea of that is that if a chainsaw touches off your leg, the idea of a chain is to dig in. So if you offer up a chain to a piece of timber, it's going to dig into that timber to cut it. So if it meets your leg, what's it going to do? It's going to dig in and cut it, and it's going to leave a gash as thick as my finger. You try and stitch that up. So they're extremely important. They're there to save you. They're there to have no traumatic injuries. But people say it's the price. I don't think you can put your health on a figure. And I'm going to just demonstrate to you in a minute what it's going to do and how it's going to protect you. Now guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate to you the benefit of wearing safety pants. It's a pretty shocking thing, but I'll go through it one by one. So first of all, most important, goggles. Never cut timber without goggles on. Gloves. And the other item I'm going to show you is the chain brake. Now, most people who have chainsaws, they have a chain brake on them. They think the chain brake is there, that if it kicks back on you, that it's going to stop. But it's got another very useful use for it, right? And that is, if you put on your chain brake, for instance in this battery saw, nothing happens. So normally what people do is they drop the saw to move items around the place. But if you trip or fall and you pull your finger, that chainsaw can start, like so. Right? But if I put on the engine brake, I'm walking around with this in my hand, nothing's going to happen. So anytime you have your chainsaw in your hand and it's running, always have the chain brake on. So I'll demonstrate first. I'll show you how this guy cuts. So just to demonstrate you, pair of safety pants. We'll consider this log. We'll cut it first and I'll show you. Okay. Now, let's change that log to your leg. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do now is just show you how important safety pants are, and it's going to safeguard any traumatic injuries to your lower body. So we consider now that piece of timber is your leg, these are your pants, and this is just a small little light chainsaw, right? Chain brake off, okay? We've just taken our eye off the ball for 1 second. So that's what that's supposed to do. Right guys, here I have our introductory petrol model. So we'll give this a go. Just see what happens with this guy. Nasty, isn't it? So what it does, it pulls out these fibres and stops. That's fairly well jammed. But I can tell you, lads, if you look underneath here, did not go through to the timber. You have a bit of a mess. You've lost probably 120 euros worth of a pair of pants, but you're not going to the A&E. Removing the side cover just to see what kind of mess we have to look at. Cover off. Wow. So what it's done is pull these fibres out. It's wrapped itself around the clutch because the blade has dragged this in, wrapped it around the clutch. And what it did then, it shut down the engine. So, as you can see, bit of a mess, but all recoverable. It's actually quite sturdy. I say I'll have to get the scissors to this, but look, I've shown you the importance of that. Everything's a mess, the chainsaw's a mess, the bar and chain is a mess, the pants are a mess, but the leg is perfect, look. And that's what these are there to do. So, guys and girls, whoever using chainsaws, make sure the least you have on you is a pair of safety pants, goggles for your eyes, your mobile phone, and please God, you'll have a safe working environment. See, we're back. Break off. It's all free. Okay? Best of luck, lads. Safety gear, we've plenty. If you want to see our full range of all our safety gear, go to our website, dfg.ie. You'll have everything there to make your working environment the safest ever. Thank you.